Today we are making these Christmas tree decorations that may look complicated but really are quick and simple to make. This is an ideal project for using both your imagination for making different kinds as well as scrap yarns that you have. So we are going to see how we are going to make these, and at the end I also have a tip that is very useful if you are using scrap yarns and two squares don't turn up to be the same size. And the tip is not to use a different size hook. We are using the basic granny square, and because I already have several videos about the granny square, I am not going to show you how to make the granny square. So if you haven't made granny squares before, check out the description for tutorials for that. But first we can open this here box and see what's inside. So it's a subscription box from Hooks and Needles, and this is a crochet one. They also have a knitting and amigurumi one. So let's see. First, a booklet for patterns. Look in a minute. Oh, beautiful colors. Some of my favorite colors. What kind of yarn is it? Merino, 100% unshrinkable extra fine merino, made in Italy. It's this sort of very well spun yarn, so it stays as it is. And then what else? Stitch markers. A whole lot of them. Many different kinds. Great that they are metal, then they last, because plastic clip-on ones break so quickly. And then there's two other things in here. It's a strap and a tassel. That must have something to do with what there is in the pattern booklet, so let's see. Here's one hanging organizer with lots of photos. Then a puff stitch pot holder, again with lots of photos. And then here a purse. It's very pretty, and that is what these here are for. So here's a strap for it and a tassel. If you know me, I very rarely use ready-made patterns, but this bag would look lovely in these here colors. I might actually make that, and if I do, I will show it later. Check out the link in the description, and a monthly box like this here is also a great gift idea. Back to our ornaments. Here's one close by, and you can really make them in a whole lot of different ways. This has many colors, and then it has been bordered with red glitter, and it has some beads hanging. This here is a different style and blue, and it has picot edging. And here a sort of a very happy colored one with a tassel. And this one again a completely different style, sort of very stylish, all white and silver. These of course only take very little yarn. I keep lots of different colors of cottons, mainly mercerized cottons, for little projects like this here. I find that cotton works very well for these sort of things, partly because it's sort of stiff enough so that it stays where you put it. And you can also use glitter yarns if you have any. I love to use glittery things for decorations. I also have many beads that I like to use. And then you need a hook that goes with the yarns you have chosen. Mine is 2.5 millimeter. Each decoration needs 3 of these small granny squares. They only have 2 rounds. I have started using the magic loop, but you can also use 4 or 5 chains. I always change the color in the corner, so I'll show just how I go from one round to the next. But you can also do it differently as long as you end up with a granny square. Here's the first round done. Now I'm changing the different color. So I have chained the 2 that go in the corner, and I'm changing the color now. So I insert the hook in the start of it and pull through using the new color already at this stage. Tightening a bit and then chaining 3 and going into that same corner behind me and doing 2 double crochets into that same corner, and then I continue normally until I finish. And as mentioned, there are many other ways, but I won't go into them on this video. Make 3 squares in whatever color combinations. And one tip about weaving in ends. How carefully you weave them in depends on what the item is going to be used for. So these here are decorative only. Most likely will never be washed. So weaving in very quickly, just passing the yarn once, is enough. This is a different one now, but after you have done the 3 and you are working with cotton or something else that can be steamed a bit, you could do that so that it's more finished looking. And if you want to have a glitter border or something, this is when you do it. So you do that before we attach them. Then take some yarn, and if you are going to use the same yarn for the hanging loop, or if you're going to have something like a tassel or beads to attach, then take long enough yarn and attach it to near one of the corners. And then we put 3 of them on top of each other. This one here now is the wrong side, and then I'm putting the next to the right side up, although it doesn't make much of a difference when it's finished. So like that and like that. So now we have 3 of them, and insert the needle through all the corners and do that a second time, going through all of them so that it's sort of tight, pull it tight. And now we are going to sew across diagonally to the other corner there. And just check that you are in the same spot when you pass the needle, that you are at the same place with all 3 of them. And then in the middle also check that it goes through the middles of each so they are aligned. So like that to the other corner. So this is the basic piece done now, and then you can finish it with whatever way. I might want to do the hanging loop using this same yarn, so I'll attach it here. Maybe that's the right length, and then finishing the yarn off. And then if you wanted to, you could add beads or a tassel here. I'm adding a tassel to this one. I have 4 strands of each color. Didn't measure them, but they are about the length of my hand. And then I pass them through here and tie them like that. And then another piece. That's how I like to do tassels. I'm sure there are other ways. So I'm tying it in here. First not too tight so I can pull them all even. Like that there. And then tighten it. And then the tip, if you have to make some changes so that all your squares are the same size. So now I need to make this slightly bigger than it would be if I just continued the way you normally do with double crochets. I first chain 4 instead of 3, and this same works regardless of how you make your granny square. So you start normally and go in here and start it like that, but instead of finishing the double crochet off now, we are going to make it an extended. So you first make like a chain here, and then you finish off the double crochet. So I'll do the same again. Here you start normally, but you have first go through only the first stitch and then the rest. And I chain 1 and then go to the next corner, and the same here. So we're starting here through only 1 stitch, and then the way you normally finish double crochets. Again there. So extending stitches like that, it extends it a little bit. You don't really notice that it's been done if somebody else looks at it, but it makes the row just a little bit around, just a little bit bigger, so that it doesn't happen like in here that if one yarn, for instance, in this case is slightly smaller, that the squares end up the wrong size. So this here done this way If I did that for the golden colored ones, then these two would be the same size. So you just continue the same. Every double crochet is extended, otherwise you work normally. And this same tip can be applied in many other situations as well. So here's one more. Enjoy making many of these for yourself and for your friends.